Imagine walking into your garden on a warm morning and seeing a hummingbird hover right in front of you, wings blurring into a soft hum, while a butterfly drifts from bloom to bloom nearby. Now think about your own garden. It might be neat, it might be colorful, but if it feels quiet, if it feels a little empty, you are not imagining it. The problem is usually not your design or your effort. In most cases, it comes down to one thing. The flowers you planted were chosen for beauty, not for the pollinators you actually want to see. Today we are fixing that. I am showing you 10 flowers that act like magnets for hummingbirds and butterflies, and by the end of this video, you will know exactly what your garden has been missing. If you are new here, welcome. This channel is all about helping you create a beautiful, thriving garden with smart plant choices, practical gardening tips, and simple ideas that make gardening easier. If you love discovering plants and techniques that can transform your outdoor space, consider subscribing and don't forget to turn on the notification button because we have plenty more gardening inspiration coming your way. Before we get into the list, which pollinator would you love to see more of? Hummingbirds, butterflies, or bees? Let us know in the comments. Why pollinators are missing? Let's talk about why a beautiful garden can still feel lifeless. There are 4 common reasons. First, a lack of nectar-rich plants. Some flowers are bred for bigger petals and bolder colors, and that breeding can strip away the nectar pollinators actually need. A flower can look stunning and still offer almost nothing to eat. Second, no continuous blooms. Hummingbirds and butterflies need a steady food source from spring through fall. One big flush of color in June, with nothing after, it sends pollinators looking elsewhere. Third, heavy pesticide use. Chemicals that target pests often harm the very insects and visitors you want to attract, including hummingbirds, since they eat small insects too. Fourth, planting only one type of flower. A single variety cannot support every pollinator's needs. Diversity in shape, color, and bloom time is what turns a flower bed into a real pollinator garden. Keep these 4 ideas in mind, because every plant on this list solves at least one of them. Plant 10, Aster. The effect it creates. The late-season lifeline effect. Most gardeners overlook this plant, but butterflies depend on it. By late summer, many flowers are finished, right when pollinators need energy most for migration. Asters step in with daisy-like blooms in purple, pink, and blue, one of the most valuable late-season nectar sources you can plant. Give asters full sun and well-drained soil. They are low-maintenance and beginner-friendly, and come back reliably every year. Plant them toward the back of a border for fall color, and avoid cutting them back too early, since that removes the very blooms butterflies are waiting for. Plant 9, Penstemon. The effect it creates. The vertical hummingbird highway effect. This flower attracts pollinators differently. Penstemon, also called beard tongue, produces tall spikes of tubular flowers shaped for a hummingbird's long beak, keeping the reward reserved mostly for them. It likes full sun and, depending on variety, handles drought well, making it forgiving if you forget to water. It adds strong vertical interest, so place it mid or back border. It is beginner-friendly, and the main mistake is overwatering, which can cause root problems. Plant 8, Milkweed. The effect it creates. The monarch survival effect. Here is a surprising fact. Without this plant, monarch butterflies cannot complete their life cycle. Milkweed is the only plant monarch caterpillars eat, so it is essential if you want monarchs in your garden. Watching eggs turn into caterpillars is one of the most rewarding things a garden can offer. Milkweed wants full sun and average to dry soil, and needs little care once established. Plant it in a dedicated spot since the leaves will get chewed, which is a good sign. Choose a variety native to your region, since some types can spread aggressively outside their natural range. Plant 7. Cardinal flower. The effect it creates. The bold red magnet effect. Hummingbirds are drawn to red more than any other color, and this plant takes full advantage of it. Cardinal flower produces spikes of brilliant red, tubular blooms shaped for a hummingbird's beak, a deep nectar source few other visitors can reach. It prefers full sun to partial shade and consistently moist soil, so it is wonderful near a pond or a low, damp spot in your yard. It is moderately easy for beginners, though it struggles in dry soil, so keep it watered. Plant 6. Lantana. The effect it creates. The non-stop color effect. If you want a plant that works non-stop all season, this is it. Lantana produces clusters of small flowers in shifting shades of orange, yellow, pink, and red, and butterflies treat it like an all-you-can-eat buffet, since each cluster offers dozens of feeding spots. It loves full sun and handles heat exceptionally well. Water needs are low once established, and maintenance is minimal. Use it in borders, containers, or hanging baskets, and check whether it survives winter in your zone, since it is often grown as an annual in cooler climates. Plant 5. Zinnias. The effect it creates. The beginner's first success effect. If you have never grown a pollinator plant before, start here. Zinnias are affordable, easy to grow from seed, and nearly impossible to mess up. Their flat, open blooms give butterflies an easy landing pad, and their bright colors are easy to spot from a distance. They need full sun and regular watering, and can bloom within a few weeks of sowing. Plant them in odd-numbered clusters and deadhead-spent blooms to keep flowers coming. The most common mistake is spacing them too closely, which invites powdery mildew. Plant 4. Coneflower. The effect it creates. The all-season structure effect. This plant does double duty, first as a butterfly favorite, later as bird food. Coneflower, or echinacea, has daisy-like petals around a raised, spiky center, packed with tiny flowers, giving butterflies a concentrated nectar source to perch and feed on. It prefers full sun and is drought-tolerant once established, making it very low maintenance. Leave the seed heads standing through fall and winter instead of cutting them back, since birds like goldfinches will feed on them later. Use it mid-border for structure that holds up across seasons. Plant 3. Butterfly bush. The effect it creates. The visual centerpiece effect. As the name suggests, this plant is famous for pulling in butterflies by the dozen. Butterfly bush produces long, cone-shaped flower clusters that create a dramatic centerpiece, and their size and fragrance make them almost impossible for butterflies to resist. It thrives in full sun with moderate water once established, can grow quite large, and benefits from an early spring pruning. In some regions, certain varieties can spread aggressively, so check with your local extension office and choose a sterile or regionally approved variety if that matters where you live. Plant 2. Salvia. The effect it creates. The long-season hummingbird effect. The final plant is important because it helps keep your garden alive when many flowers disappear. But first, we cannot skip salvia, since it may be the longest-blooming hummingbird plant you can grow. It produces spikes of small tubular flowers in purple to bright red, and hummingbirds visit consistently from late spring into fall. It grows well in full sun and tolerates a range of soils, needing only moderate watering. Deadhead-spent spikes to encourage more blooms. It is forgiving for beginners, and the main thing to avoid is overwatering in heavy clay soil. Plant 1. Bee balm. The effect it creates. The ultimate hummingbird magnet effect. This is the plant that started this whole conversation, and it earns the top spot. Bee balm, or monarda, is widely considered one of the best plants for attracting hummingbirds. Its shaggy, tubular flowers in red, pink, or purple are shaped almost perfectly for a hummingbird's beak, and butterflies and bees visit too. It prefers full sun to partial shade and evenly moist soil, so it does well near a downspout or damp corner. It spreads over time, giving that lush, cottage garden feeling. Give it good air circulation to avoid powdery mildew, and it will reward you with the exact scene from the start of this video. A beautiful garden and a living garden are not always the same thing. You can have perfectly trimmed hedges and colorful beds and still feel like something is missing. What is missing is usually an invitation, the right nectar, the right shapes, spread across the whole season. You do not need to plant all 10 at once. Start with 2 or 3 that fit your sun, soil, and climate, and watch what happens over the next few weeks. Even a small pollinator garden can become the liveliest corner of your yard. Picture it: morning coffee while a hummingbird checks the bee balm, a child chasing a butterfly across the yard. That is simply what happens when you plant with pollinators in mind, instead of just planting for looks. If this video helped you, subscribe for more gardening tips, and tell us in the comments which of these 10 plants you are trying first. Your garden is closer to becoming a hummingbird and butterfly paradise than you think.